Well, Toronto Raptors President Masai Ujiri is speaking to reporters today about the trade that sent Pascal Siakam to the Indiana Pacers. Let's listen in.
Incredible players and what they brought to our franchise. Championship players. Obviously, you guys, you know my relationships with these guys and how hard this is, and I know how hard it is, how hard it's been for them too. Yesterday with Pascal, incredibly difficult, but we're also excited about the new direction of the team. So with that, I just wanted to say thank you to them and everything they've brought to this program. I want to say there's nobody that knows them better than I do. And as close to them as I am, in every single detail. I know what those guys brought every day, how professional they were. Yeah, it's these things happen, but that one is close to me. I'll say this. Yeah, I hate to go on like this little rant, but on what I think of the world globally, you know, and what these guys represent, and where I come from, where they come from, yeah, it's meant a lot to me. And trust me, we've analyzed this in every single way, more than you can think, to come to this decision. And but I wish them all the best, and I know they're going to do big things where they are.
Why did you think it was necessary to change direction like this in these last 3 weeks?
Obviously, I think the uncertainty of free agency is a big factor. I think we also looked at the trend of the team. We've tried to give it as much time as we can, and I know there are a lot of questions after last season. Why didn't we do something at the trade deadline? You know, but we look at the fits of the team. We looked at the emergence of Scotty, and we've also looked at the age and coming down a little bit younger and growing. So, Doug, honestly, a lot of factors. You know, like whether it's now or thinking about the strategy of future. You know, like so, lots of factors.
In hindsight, with what you just referred to, do you wish you had acted sooner and moved on from OG or Pascal sooner?
No, I don't. Honestly, when I look at, if you give an example, I hate to go back here, but if you give an example to our 48-win team in 13, we tried to give that a chance. Next year, when we came back and had 49 wins, we didn't have honestly like a great year, but had 49 wins. So when I look at this, you know, the caliber of players, and I look at the year before. Guys got better. I think that team, in my opinion, deserved us to give them more than half a season chance, and that led to us thinking that one of the pieces missing at the time was a center. You know, like, and we thought it was good value to get a starting center for a pick, and we still think that. So, to your question, Eric, at the time, our full-blown thought was to give this team a chance, to play and to win. And I don't know that you make a decision, you know, like half a season in, you know, based on, you know, like our struggles or some of the things that we were not doing so well. I think that's a short time in our business.
You've talked a lot about wanting to remain competitive in the present while also developing for the future and balancing those things. That seemed to be the motivation, obviously, with the OG deal and with the Pirtle deal that you talked about. This trade sends a bit of a different message. Was it simply that you felt this was the best offer that was going to be available, or do you believe that this can help you do that and continue to compete in the short term?
Well, when you look at both trades, I think we accomplished a couple things, that we're trying to do. If you put them together, young players, picks, and flexibility of our team going into the future. And that's how strategically we have to look at this. To your point, I think the marketplace is also determines. You guys are a big contributor to where the NBA is going and how things are advertised or things are reported. But I hate to tell you guys, it's not all reality. That's real. So my point is some of the trades and things you hear, like on Twitter or on social media, I'm not getting those calls. So the marketplace varies and changes, at different times. That's just the nature of the NBA and the nature of our jobs. And this is what was there for us, and we measured it with what was there for us in the past. And it was consistent, and we decided to move on it.
Given the deals that you're saying weren't there, on the table, that the media thought there was, or whatever the case is, was there then, how much thought was then given to potentially retaining Pascal and making a decision later, or was that off the table for you at this point? Yeah,
some thought was given to it. Let me make this clear to all of you. Everybody, I see, my guys tell me, with this whole Pascal thing, there's no, Pascal's success is my success. There's none of you that knew Pascal or know Pascal more than me. Let's be real. So his success is my success. If that guy moves, I move. So if I'm being, even if I'm being selfish, there's, for me, there's something there. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't, I've gone into every detail, every single detail. My team has gone into every single detail on how we measure him staying or us doing this deal. And fit comes into it. And when we think of fit, we think strategically, we think on the court with Scotty Barnes, who has emerged to be the player we're going to build around. And also we have to think about financials. We have to think that too. So you can imagine, or you can say we will trade, we will sign and do something later, but you never know how this market changes. That's just the nature of the NBA.
Just following up on that, talking about the strategy of the future and the financials, how much does the new CBA restrictions play into things and change things in terms of max contracts, super max, all that, having 2 max, 3 max guys, whatever? How much does that change everything these days?
It does play into it, and you'll see as it comes. We'll see it. It does play into it, and for us, having flexibility, I think, maybe speaks louder, for us, in terms of what could become available in the future. We have to think that way as we move forward.
You guys have had not a lot of draft picks over the past few years in trying to add to this team over time and adding to the championship. With this trade especially, bringing in 3 first-round picks, do you see it as an opportunity for the front office to kind of make a big stamp in that way on the franchise again? I
think it does, but it also, we have to look at it as honestly as flexibility. You can consolidate these picks, you don't have to pick them, you can trade them. There are many things that you can do, and that's our thinking. Yeah, with those picks. It's not necessarily that we are going to go into this draft and we have a lot of picks and we're going to approach it that way. There are many ways to think about this. You never know what comes up. I think historically every year there's always some kind of player. In the last 3, 4, 5 years, maybe even 2 players that just become available from other team situations, and we don't know if that becomes a fit, for us. But we're excited. We're excited about the young players we have. We're excited about Scottie Barnes and his emergence. We're excited about Quickly and his style of play and how young he is and the potential of growth. We're excited about bringing RJ Barrett home and his potential and what he could do. As a player, I think there's room for growth for these guys. We're excited for Grady. It's gonna take time. And to be honest, what does a rebuild take, or a normal rebuild? I don't know if to call this a rebuild or a reset or however we want to put it. But a normal rebuild with other teams takes 5, 6 years. Yeah, do we have the patience for that? Do we have the patience for 3 to 5 years, a building of a team? Some way, somehow, we're going to have patience. And one of the things that I'll tell you 100%, I'm not going to, BS anybody on, is I am patient. Yeah, I was maybe to a fault. I was patient with that team last year because I believed in them. I believed in those players. I believed in what they brought. But now we have to look to the future. Yeah, I think there's many exciting things coming with this team. We've seen it. I think the style of play that Darko has, I think, is very sustainable going into the future. I think we'll get better. I think our guys will grow. I think we'll continue to add players and we'll continue to see ways where this team can get better. And I think it's going to take patience. We have to see these guys grow. And that's one thing that I think we don't have as much now in this day and age in the NBA.
You mentioned Scottie and the trades clear the way for him to officially be the face of the franchise. Now, obviously, he's taken a big step forward this year, but he's still 22, and that's pretty young in terms of guys who take the reins of a franchise. What makes you confident that he's ready for that responsibility and everything that comes with it?
Well, I don't know if he's ready for that responsibility, but we have to put him in position. That's our jobs. Yeah, we have to put him in position to at least grow and start to see dividends of the work he's putting in, to become that kind of player. And I think we've seen it. Yeah, whether if he's getting better rebounding, whether he's getting better as a fourth quarter player, whether he's getting better passing the ball, whether he's getting better with his three-point shooting, I think we've seen that. The hardest thing to do in this NBA is to find those kind of players. Yeah, that's the hardest thing, is to find that exact type of player. Yeah, that has that basketball IQ, that has that size, that develops his shooting, has the charisma, has the character, to become that player. And then the other guys too that have upside. Quickly has incredible upside, whether it's his shooting that spaces the floor for us, his quickness. He'll get better and better. This team has only played how many limited games together. Or RJ Barrett, we're trying to teach him to play in a different way, and I think he's going to get better at it. We already see it. His shooting will get better, and we continue to grow from there and add, I think, those pieces that are necessary for this team to continue to grow. But I tell this to all of you guys and to our fan base: it's going to take patience. Yeah, we're going to grow gradually and try to build this team like the right way.
Given the preferred style of play that you mentioned and also Bruce Brown's skill set, do you think he can be part of that future beyond just a short-term thing?
Well, if you think of a guy, like that has been on a championship team, as one of the toughest players in the NBA, there's something he brings to us. He's dynamic. He's 6'4", 6'5", but plays every position there is in the NBA. For us, it was he's a key contributor to this. in what he brings to our team.
Sorry, when you made the move for Jakob, at the time you had, an all-star point guard, you had an all-NBA forward, you had an all-NBA defender, you had, Scotty, who's, clearly on his path to something special. And one of the reasons you were willing to make the trade with Jakob was because this draft, 2024, was, deemed to be quite weak. And so, when you look at where you are now, where a lot of those pieces we talked about aren't here, and you've now potentially got 4 picks in this draft. I mean, would you have predicted that that's the situation you're in, and would you have kind of wondered if there's maybe a miscalculation along the way in terms of some of the judgments that led to it?
Yeah, I can see it where you see it that way, Grange, but when you trade a first-round pick for a starting center in the NBA, in our business, it's for us, it's good for now and for the future, whether it's a fit on our team or it's something else in the future. Yeah, when you trade the first-round pick for a starter, I don't know how many times that's been done, or where it's always available, and that's the way we look at it. When I go back and look at what we did with our team at that time, met with the coaches, met with the players, and collectively, and with our front office, we decided that to give that team a chance. All-star player in Fred VanVleet, you mentioned, All-NBA, Pascal Siakam, All-Defensive, OG Anunoby, Rookie of the Year, Scotty Barnes. They deserved and they wanted a rim protector. Yeah, and maybe it was me being selfish, and maybe it was a mistake on my part. But we went 15-11 after that, and so I'm not going to sit here and cry over spilled milk or give you guys any excuses if it was a mistake. It was a mistake, but going forward for me, that's good value for us, whether it's now or sustainable in the future.
You mentioned that you didn't feel a half season, was enough to evaluate that group. When that season came to an end, you obviously have had a full season to evaluate that team. Over the summer, what were you guys? You mentioned potentially making changes, not just to the coaching staff, but to the roster as well. You didn't make a ton of those. Were you thinking about those things, and I guess why didn't you make bigger changes or some of these changes during the summer? Yeah,
I think we definitely looked at the draft. We definitely looked at this the summer, and honestly, our business, is what's available and what the market is, at the time, and what was available was not what we wanted to do with where we wanted to go with our team, and that's where sometimes you have to be patient. And sometimes being patient is being risky. It's just taking risks, with what you do. But when I measure what we have now and what was available then, it pretty much balances out. Yeah. So even at the draft, teams make decisions that, we're not going to go that direction, or we're going to decide to rebuild. I know Portland was one of the teams that was mentioned a lot, in this whole process, but they decided to go in the other direction rather than get better. I don't control that. I wait for this and I'm aggressive on this, but if it's not on this, I don't know what to do. Go ahead.
You talk about being patient, and I can tell it's a long-term strategy. But it's just more so in the immediacy of this team right now. What are your expectations? What is the immediate next step with this group?
Play and keep growing and keep learning. I think learn the system, learn the NBA, learn what it takes to grow in this NBA. Operate within space, and when I say space, I mean what the boundaries are to grow, and what the limits are, and what the opportunities are. for these guys to grow. And I think the system that Daco has put into place, like where we think sharing, we're going to try and add more shooting to this team, and we'll continue to give these guys the opportunity to grow and expand their games even more.
You guys have a bunch of pieces now of varying age, salary, skill. Can you see more trades in the next 3 weeks?
Definitely. That's you look at this, and that's why we have created flexibility. The next 3 weeks is all these windows, whether it's now, whether it's the draft, whether it's free agency. That's why we've created flexibility to make this team grow and continue to be bigger and better and exciting for our fans, because I think there's upside here.
You do have an extra pick to maybe attach to a contract in a trade in the next before February 8th. Is that part of the thought process to get to the
100%? Yeah, 100%. Why not? There are ways to consolidate. There are ways to attach to contracts. There are ways to think really big if things happen where you have to pile on picks to put in potential deals. We just wanted to create that room where we have that flexibility to grow and grow around these guys and build around these players.
Masai, you've said dating back many years that Canada has a lot of untapped potential. And I know you increased the scouting efforts here since you've taken over. So with that in mind, what does it mean to you to have RJ on the team now?
It means a lot, for us. That's intentional for us. It's 100% intentional. We wanted RJ Barrett. We wanted quickly in that deal. It meant a lot for us to bring him home and start to build on this, and we haven't really built on that like the last few years as these Canadian players have continued to rise in the NBA, and this was an opportunity for us.
Learned any lessons about yourself in the past few years about your own leadership style and management?
Yes, a lot. Honestly, I learn every day. That's just the kind of person I am. That's what this business is. If you don't innovate, if you don't try to get better, if you don't look at the things that you don't do well or you don't do so well, I have no ego in this game. For me, this is an incredible opportunity to be at this job. So, yeah, it's every day. It's learning. I'm learning how to dance Afrobeats. I have an Afrobeats dance class twice a week. I'm clumsy dancing, so I need to learn how to dance. Started doing the Muay Thai, boxing. There's so many things that but even. Yeah, I'm thinking, I know your questions are towards the business, but honestly, every day we're challenging our minds because this business has become so swift, so instinctive now, so day to day. You don't know what's coming. Yeah, you never know what's coming.
So you would have known Decky in Golden State, I presume, through the process of hiring Darko and various international events. Can you speak to his untimely passing and what it meant to the league?
And Decky's that one. I didn't want to open with that because I didn't want to get emotional. Jonathan Givoni introduced me to Decky many years ago in Serbia, and this is when he was coaching at Mega, and a lot of my time was spent in Serbia on obviously learning how to scout, and I met Dejan there, and for this to happen, just like this in the manner that it happened, I can't even imagine for his family or their organization, you know, like, but somebody I knew, somebody that I just saw, a couple days ago in Golden State when we played them. So this one is hard because I know the NBA is just one big family, man, and you know, my time scouting and going back there and spending time and dinners and all those things, information you're trying to gather about players and him wanting to be a coach. I will tell you guys this. It's not the man because the man is gone, but out of the 15 coaches that we interviewed, about 11 of them mentioned his name and the potential to bring them on his staff. 11 of them. I just counted with Bobby. 11. You know, what does that tell you about the man? Incredible. Jama was besides himself yesterday, and so was Darko. You know, like for this to happen, like at a team dinner. Think about like what that means. For us, and that's the reality of this NBA. You know, like we can do what we want, trade all we want, to say all the things that we want. You know, the things that I see precious to me, and I see is the family of the NBA. The camaraderie of the NBA, how we are together in this NBA. That's why this is hard. That's why trading Pascal or Precious, is hard in this league. And I don't know what else to say about him. He's a good man, that untimely passing.
There's no good way to segue, so I apologize. There's been a lot out there between your relationship and the team's relationship with Pascal since he was extension eligible. I'm not going to ask for like a TikTok of exactly how everybody felt at every moment, but do you feel that the lines of communication were good and you leave the relationship for now in a fairly good place?
Yes, it's a good question, Eric. You know, I think the lines of communication in the summer were not that great. You know, like just because, sometimes I don't have answers, you know, like, and sometimes the answer that I've given you, you know, like is the same answer that I'm going to give you, you know, like the next time I speak to you. But based on my relationship, you know, like Pascal deserved that I even gave him, you know, like the over communication, you know, like which I didn't. And I apologized to him, you know, for it. I apologized to him before the season started, and I apologized to him again, you know, recently. So, that part I'm not particularly proud of, you know, like, but there's so many things in our business that bring about this type of this type of communication or non-communication. And I go back again to say there's nobody in this world, I don't know, you know, like outside his close family, his mom, his brothers, and that guy is right here.
Masai, when you think about Pascal in 10, 20 years from now, what are you going to think about? Is there a moment that stands out to you when you think about him?
Yeah, two moments. Yeah. Two African guys that won the championship. I share that with him. And I think of his dad and Pascal at Basketball Without Borders. A lot of people don't know that Pascal came to Basketball Without Borders in South Africa. He had been admitted into pastoral school in Cameroon, and he only came to Basketball Without Borders to see his sister who lived in South Africa. and he was going to go back to pastoral school. And all NBA, all All-Star, all everything, championship. And it's not stereotype championship of African waving the flag on the bench. Yeah, scoring, contributing, yeah, doing everything, that you can think of. Again, I say to you guys that guy's success is my success, no matter where he is. Yeah.
Masai, your career has been pretty exceptional. Like going back to Denver, like just a remarkable run of really good teams that generally made better. But one thing that really hasn't happened as a GM is kind of rebuilding, like taking a team that's whatever we are, 10, 12 games under 500, and kind of having trying to ramp that up. And I'm just wondering, what are some of your thoughts on that challenge, and where do you think you're going to have to sort of dig in different ways than you have in the past?
Yeah, I have to dig in. Grades, I have to dig in. It's not. It's the challenge of this business, and I just a challenge of learning. There's a challenge of innovating. There's nothing that, honestly, like when I look at this business and the things we have to do to stay on top of it, to stay relevant, to win, because I think the game is about winning. We want to win in Toronto. It's the first thing I said when I came here, and I'm going to say it again. We want to win in Toronto, and we're going to win in Toronto. I can guarantee it, because we will do everything in our power. In my power, I'll do everything, to learn about what you are saying. And that's learning to build this team around youth. That's the challenge now, and I accept it, and we're going to take it and go with it.
So you mentioned, building this team around you. Scotty is sort of the forefront.
We've been listening to Toronto Raptors President Masai Ujiri speaking to reporters today about the trade that sent Pascal Siakam to the Indiana Pacers.